All right, another spark and another build. Step into the forge with us. Today we're tackling a concept at the very heart of tools and titans. Something that defines your strategy from the moment you choose your champion. We're talking about craft power.
You might see it as just a number on your Titan card, but CP, or craft power, is so much more. It's the soul of your Titan's tradecraft, a measure of their mastery, their tempo, and their ultimate impact on the battlefield. It's the difference between a casual player and a competitive one. Understanding CP is understanding the game's core rhythm.
It dictates everything, from how you play your turn to how you build your entire deck. And speaking of turns, for anyone just joining the game, the core loop is beautifully simple.
Exactly. Before we dive deep into CP, let's set the stage.
So how do you play tools and titans?
Easy. Draw your cards,
Charge your energy,
build your field,
act with your powers,
clash with your Titans.
and your turn.
6 steps, 1 epic battle, and craft power influences nearly every single one of them.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What exactly is craft power? You called it the soul of a titan, but in game terms, what does that mean?
Think of it as a numerical value representing your Titan's inherent mastery over their trade. It's their divine trade pressure, how effectively they reshape the world through their skill. It's a stat line, an activation threshold, and a scaling engine all rolled into one. The designers refer to it as a multi-layered system.
Multi-layered, so it's not just one thing. Break down those layers for us.
The first layer is the most obvious, a pure stat value. Your Titan has a base CP, let's say 25. That's its starting craft force. But the second layer is the scaling threshold. This is where the game gets interesting. Many cards in your deck will only activate or will gain bonuses if your CP is above or below a certain number.
So a card might say something like, this effect is stronger if your CP is above 25?
Precisely. Or, this card costs 1 less to play if your CP is under 22. It forces you to build your deck around your Titan's natural strengths. The third layer is the Forge output modifier. A higher CP might mean you can activate more tools in a single turn, or that your structures are more resilient. It affects your overall efficiency.
And the last layer?
That would be the synergy tag. This is more subtle. Your CP value can interact with other game systems, like weave surges or zone control. For example, a game event might state, the player with the highest CP gains initiative. It's a constant factor in the game's flow.
So it's not just about power, it's about potential. It's woven into every aspect of the game. Where do players actually keep track of it?
It's displayed right on the Titan display panel, usually right next to another key stat, the ST, or structure threshold, which we'll get into later. You'll see CP referenced constantly on other cards, too. Task cards might say, complete this task if your CP is 24 or higher.
And I see tool cards can grant +1 to an effect for every 5 CP you have. It really is a dynamic system. Can you change your CP during a match?
You can. While it can't normally be permanently altered, certain cast cards, tools, or powerful effects like Guild-forged edicts can temporarily boost or even modify your CP for a turn. This creates opportunities for explosive plays that go against your Titan's normal tempo. Now, this is where the design gets really elegant. To help players understand the role of CP, the creators categorized Titans into 3 distinct tiers, what they call the ForgeLight tiers.
ForgeLight tiers? I like the sound of that. It sounds thematic. What are they?
The tiers are based on a Titan's starting CP value, and they basically tell you what kind of performance arc to expect. They reflect the deck's personality. There are 3 tiers: Spark, Flame, and Embercore.
Okay, break those down for us. Let's start with the first one, Spark tier.
The Spark tier covers Titans with a CP range of 18 to 22. These are your fast, agile, lower-cost Titans. They have a high action economy, meaning they can do a lot very quickly. They're designed for tempo control, early pressure, and low-cost action decks. Think of them as tactical specialists.
So a player who likes to be aggressive and get on the board early would gravitate towards a Spark tier Titan. Who's a good example?
Lakara, the trick play control titan, is a perfect one. Her CP is 20. She's not about brute force. She's about tactical, resourceful plays that disrupt the opponent. Another great example is Verdesia, with a CP of 22. She's all about regenerative, tempo-scaling sustainability, putting threats on the board that grow over time. Even the support titan, Aetherlyn, sits at a CP of 19, focusing on pure utility and engine building.
Fast, combo-oriented, but I'm guessing they have a weakness. They sound a bit fragile.
And they are. Their low CP means they can be overpowered by strong defenses and late-game threats if they don't secure an early advantage. Their entire strategy is to win before the opponent can deploy their own game plan. They are hard countered by strong defensive setups.
That makes sense. So after Spark, we have the Flame tier. What's their story?
Flame tier titans have a CP between 23 and 26. These are your balanced, flexible, combo-scaling titans. They represent the solid mid-range of the game, good at offense, defense, and unlocking powerful synergies. They are the ultimate adapters.
This sounds like the sweet spot for players who like to pivot their strategy as the match unfolds.
It is. A Flame tier player is always looking for that critical pivot turn, the moment they take control. A great example is Drafter, the puzzle combo deck enabler with a CP of 24. His whole design is about building towards a specific powerful combination of cards. Or you have Masonics, the defensive builder, at CP 25. He excels at creating a fortress of structures and scaling his power from there, turning defense into a winning offense.
But that balance must come with a downside. What are their vulnerabilities?
They can be vulnerable to the early game rush from a Spark tier, or get snowballed by the massive power of a late-game Embercore Titan if they don't maintain control of the mid-game. A Flame deck that stumbles for even one turn can find itself too far behind to catch up. It's all about finding that perfect tempo. And how you find that tempo, how you pilot a Spark, Flame, or Embercore Titan, it always comes back to the foundation of your turn.
Every Titan turn, draw, charge, building, act, clash, end, 6 steps. Infinite ways to forge your victory. All right, that brings us to the final tier, the big one, Embercore. The name alone sounds powerful. What defines these Titans?
Power is the right word. The Embercore tier covers titans with a CP of 27 to 30. These are your high-cost, high-impact, slower titans. They represent the end game. Building an Embercore deck is all about surviving the early game to unleash devastating late-game swings. Their strategy is inevitability.
So these are the Titans that require patience. They're a long-term investment over the course of a match. What does their early game look like?
It's all about defense and ramping up resources. They use cheap defensive structures and low-cost task cards to delay the opponent while building up a huge pool of charge. They are charge-hungry, but their power ceiling is immense. Look at Fuser, a Rust-born Titan with a CP of 28. His strategy revolves around meltdown and recursion combos that can wipe a board clean in a single, massive turn. Or his counterpart Restara with a massive CP of 30. A high-impact, denial-based controller who just says no to everything the opponent tries to do.
So their weakness is baked right into their design. A slow, charge-hungry start that can be baited or rushed down by faster decks.
Precisely. This tier system isn't just about labeling power levels. It's a core design philosophy. It establishes tempo expectations, it balances the charge economy, and most importantly, it encourages a huge diversity of archetypes.
Let's talk more about that balance. You mentioned the structure threshold, or ST, earlier. How does that connect to CP?
They are two sides of the same coin, defining a Titan's core identity. CP is their potential power output. ST is the number of structures they need on the field to become Ascension ready. This creates a fascinating design matrix. A Titan might have low CP but also a low ST. For example, CP22 and ST3. That's a Spark tier Titan that can ascend very quickly, transforming early to press an advantage.
A glass cannon in a way. Fast, but maybe not as powerful in its final form. What about the opposite?
That would be your quintessential Embercore Titan, something with CP28 and ST5. It's slow. It needs a lot of resources and a well-defended board to get 5 structures to stick. But when it does ascend, its power is overwhelming. It's a true late-game fortress. This pairing of CP and ST is a primary driver of deck building.
And this all ties into Ascension evolving your Titan. How does CP influence the ascended form itself?
CP is a key part of the Ascension readiness check, but it also gates the type of power you get. A Spark tier Ascension might not be a massive stat boost. Instead, it might unlock a powerful new ability that lets them control the board or disrupt the opponent even more effectively. An Embercore Ascension, on the other hand, is often that huge, game-ending power spike. Their stats might double, or they might gain an ability that says, you win the game if this condition is met. So it's not just about getting to the final form, but what that form is designed to do. It's a system of risk and reward, all tied to that single number.
So when you step back and look at it, the CP system is more than just a stat. It really is the measure of a Titan's mastery.
It truly is. It encourages build discipline from the player. You can't just throw all the most powerful cards in a deck. You have to build it to be cohesive with your Titan's CP and their intended tier. It forces you to reflect on your own preferred playstyle. Do you want to win fast? Do you want to build an unbreakable wall? Do you want to assemble a complex, game-winning combo? Your choice of Titan and its CP is your first step.
It's your craft stat, your force of invention, and your license to shape the world of tools and Titans. It defines your deck's identity, its progression pacing, and its path to victory.
The tiers, Spark, Flame, and Embercore, aren't just labels. They are the curve and the character of a Titan deck. They let players choose their pacing, craft decks around resource management, and build toward either explosive, game-ending moments or sustained tactical pressure.
It's a system that's simple on the surface, but incredibly deep once you start exploring the interactions. It's the heartbeat of the game's strategy.
And in the end, it all comes back to how you use that power, turn by turn, action by action.
In every match of tools and Titans, your tradecraft unfolds in 6 simple moves.
Draw,
Charge,
building,
act,
clash,
end.
simplicity for the novice,
Mastery for the Titan.